1, 2, 3. Ah, 1, 2, 3.
I mean, these chairs is not to view it as a backrest. It's really a butt rest. So like,
nobody ever eats turkey outside of Thanksgiving.
You can't keep your mouth shut.
Pecan. Yeah, I'm arguing against this right now.
We're talking green poo all the way up the back towards the neck.
Oh, yikes.
You're not like a brontosaurus or something.
Like you eat like a herbivore.
So, I thought you were pretty awkward.
I'm having fun, but to be honest, I'm getting kind of hungry.
Well, now I am all fired up. Let's go.
Well, what's up, everybody? My name is Clay, and I am joined by Kacie, and we are here to talk to you guys about a really fun subject, and it's called lying. And lying's going to be a good subject. We're excited about it, but we just want to welcome you before we get started, whether you are a high schooler watching at a house group, middle schooler catching up, or you're just someone that found us on the interwebs. It is so good to have you hanging out with us, and we're excited to do this quick video with you, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
So, Kacie, we're talking about this subject of lying, and we are in a series called YIKES. So I have to know, what is the worst lie you have ever told in your entire life?
Oh my gosh. I would say probably not the worst one, but the one I got in the most trouble for is, of course, I was in my rebel years. And
So last week?
Stop. Yeah, last week. No, just kidding. I think it was like 9th grade. And I was not where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Not where I was supposed to be.
A little sneak out action.
Yeah, and Cindy caught me in the act.
Good for Cindy.
And I went to the bathroom thinking that, like, she wouldn't know. Like, if I called her and was like, hey, like, we just got home, you know?
Oh, poor move.
No, there was, like,
Poor
an echo
move.
in the bathroom. And she was like, where are you at? And I was like...
Oh, she was listening tight then.
And I, like, started getting choked on my words. And I was like, no. And I was normally listening.
Choking up is a dead giveaway for a lie.
Not the best thing to say in front of our students, but I was a fairly good liar.
Apparently not.
But it was like in the moment, it was like I knew. Like as soon as I answered the phone, I was like, she knows.
Oh,
she
no.
knows.
That's a bad feeling.
Yeah. So it was just really downhill from there. I could not go out anywhere for like weeks and just...
Yeah.
It was not good because then I told another lie on the phone and then I told another one because I was like trying to back up that one and then trying to back up
There's
the
a
next
whole
one.
lot of the lessons we can learn from that story right there that we will dive into later.
Yeah. But that's it. All right. What about you?
Oh,
Worst lie?
Every girl in high school I told her that I love her. I'm going to cut that. Not going to use that one.
Okay, Clay. What's the worst lie you have ever told?
One time, me and my friend... he was just telling me, like, hey, I got that thing in the back of my car. It was something like he brought my like hoodie or basketball or something. Like, it was completely nothing. And one of the girls that we hung out with, she looked at me and goes, what's in the back of his car? And I was like, what do you mean? Why do you want to know so bad? Because, like, she asked so quick, I was like, why do you have to know? She's like, I'm so curious now. I have to know it. And me and him instantly got on the same wavelength. And we're like, okay, how can we trick this girl? And he goes, oh, we can't tell you. And she's like, what is it? I was like, we really shouldn't tell you. We really shouldn't. I don't think it's a good idea to tell you. She's like, come on. And then he proceeds to go,
I don't like where this is going.
we actually just went to the St. Louis Zoo this past weekend and smuggled a baby cougar out of the display, but we can't let anybody know. We're gonna take it to another reserve place. And for like 3 months she thought we had this baby cougar puma thing. It was really bad, and the lies just kept getting worse.
Girls, if a guy ever tells you that he has a baby cougar in the back of his car, it is not true.
Or if he ever tells you he loves you,
that is also not true. Wait a little while for that one.
This subject of lying, it can be pretty funny, but it's pretty important. You know, one of the 10 commandments says you must not testify falsely against your neighbor, which really just means you must not lie. And I really am excited to have this conversation with you, Kacie, because I think that the way we approach lying as both guys and girls is pretty differently.
Very different, yeah.
How do you see girls lying play out?
There was times where I was very quick to tell a lie because I think in a girl's mindset, or it probably goes both ways, but in a girl's, like, you know, line of sight, like, if the other girls were saying this, then no matter if like I was doing that or not, no matter if like, oh, I just went and bought this, blah blah. Oh, I did too. I did too. Me too. I have that at home.
Why?
I did not have that at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just because you always want to be up to date with all the other girls that you're with, or and it was simple things like that like I would find myself like, oh, me too. And I'm like, just kidding. Like, I don't have that.
Yeah, that's very interesting because like when I thought about it, I originally would have assumed that the way guys lie is to uplift themselves. Like, hey, I did this that one time, and then you just tell stories on top of stories. Like, you just one up each other, and you end up lying a whole bunch of crazy name drop that you never really met people. Like, it's just a bunch of ways to lift each other up. And I would have assumed that girls on the other side is more, rather than lifting themselves up, it's bringing someone else down through lying. Yeah. Is that true out of that assumption? Or
yeah, I think in the case of, like, I do agree with what you said about the guys. Like, I feel like thinking about it now, it's always like, well, I did this and I did that.
Oh,
Let me
so
see
much.
how much I could impress you, you know?
Yeah.
Girls, I think it's both of the ways. Like, they would say things just to make sure, like, they were seen as the same as all the other girls. Like, they would see, like, oh, if she has this and I have this. Like, if she has that, if I have that. But you are right. Like, girls are very quick to tear people down with lies also, to make themselves look. Yeah. So I think it goes the same.
Yeah, I think guys for sure is that it's definitely something to lift themselves up, because the more you talk around other dudes, you just want to be like the guy that's like, I'm big, strong man. Right.
No, I'm better than you, and I'm better than you.
It's a problem. Like, and I think it goes back to what we've been talking about this entire series, is that it's become a cultural norm. There's a statistic that's going to be shared this weekend also that says 60% of people can't go 10 minutes in a conversation without lying.
Oh my gosh.
And within that number, more often than not, the trend is it's 3 lies or more.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, lying is a big problem in our culture today. And I think it's something we've got to attack. And like we've been saying all series too, like this series, Jesus has been attacking the cultural norms of the people that he was speaking to in the Sermon on the Mount. He's doing the same thing with us. And this is what Jesus says in Matthew 5, 33 through 37. He says, "You have also heard that our ancestors were told, 'You must not break your vows. You must carry out the vows you make to the Lord. But I say, do not make any vows. Do not say by heaven, because heaven is God's throne. And do not say by earth, because the earth is his footstool. And do not say by Jerusalem, for Jerusalem is the city of the great king. Do not even say by my head, for you can't turn one hair white or black. Just say a simple yes I will, or no I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one.'" And really what he's saying is just like, let your yes be yes, let your no be no.
Yeah.
Do what you say you're going to do. Why do you think that causes so many issues?
For one, you're putting a false, like, identity out of who, like, you are not.
That's
and secondly, I think it just goes back to what I was touching on earlier about, once you tell one lie, you're going to have to tell another lie. And then you're going to have to tell another one to back up that one.
Yeah.
And then another one to back up that one. And then a little bit down the road, when someone brings this up to you, you're going to have to remember, oh, crap, like, I told them I did this, or I told them that. Yeah. And then you're going to have to remember, like, back what you said. And then you're not going to remember it. And then it's just going to cause, but I thought you. And you're like, yeah. Like, yeah. And you're like, crap. So you have to keep living up to, like, these things that you are not. And it just traps you, I think.
You end up living a life full of lies. And obviously that's a very dangerous game to play.
Yeah.
And what I think about that combination of what you just said about lies building on other lies, and you're projecting someone who you're not really, it's a false identity.
Yeah.
The reverse of that is God is truth. And God is who he is, and God is who he will always be. He's constant. He's the same. And that is what truth is.
Yeah.
And when we are lying, we are actually living the opposite of what God is. And if we are wanting to align ourselves with who God is, well, we can't be lying, because then we're putting on this false mask.
Yeah.
We're putting on this false identity. We're not being who we really are. And here's the thing. I think people want to be who they really are.
Yeah. I think they mean well.
Yeah.
I really, that sounds so, like, contradictory. I think they mean well when they lie about certain things. I do think they mean well, but, like, you are really going about it the complete wrong way. Like, you don't have to, like, put a front up or act like something you're not, when Jesus just wants you to be who you are. And if someone really cares about you or wants to be friends with you or wants to talk to you, they're going to want to talk to you no matter what.
Yeah, like
So-
it doesn't necessarily matter like
Yeah.
what lie you come up with. That shouldn't matter when it comes to relationships. You shouldn't have to put on a false
No.
identity, and you shouldn't feel like you have to put on a false identity either.
Yeah.
So you're not living your own truth,
Mm.
but you're also not living God's truth either, because God designed us to be who we are,
Yeah.
so we can make a difference
Yeah.
in this world for the
Who
kingdom
He
of
made
God.
you to be.
He made you with the gifts you have, the skills you have, the way you look, the way you act, for a reason. Like, you were designed on purpose, and that's an amazing thing. That's
Yeah, it is.
that's an awesome thing. It's a life changing thing. But there's a lot of us that aren't living in that, and I think that combination of not living in that and not being who God's designed us to be is leaving us feeling like we're missing something.
Yeah.
And what we're missing is the truth in our life of who we really are.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue.
It's a big problem.
What do you think about the concept of saying you'll do something and then not doing it?
I think
How do we approach that?
if you know that like you can't do something or that you are gonna not be able to make something, don't wait until the very last second and be like, oh, I can't do this because of. If you don't want to come, then just say I don't want to
Yeah,
come.
you're
If
hurting. A lot of times you're hurting a relationship
Yeah.
more by backing out late.
because the more you back out, the more people realize that you're not reliable or
Yeah.
that you're not loyal or that you're not. You never come through with anything. If excuses
Yeah.
keep coming, sometimes those excuses just lead to lies and then more lies and then more excuses. And then eventually that relationship's going to be ended because that person can't count on you for anything.
You might think you're doing the better thing for the relationship by
Yeah.
saying yes. But if you're getting to a point where you have to then say no later through an excuse that is a lie, what you are doing is putting something that isn't of God in between a relationship.
Yeah.
I know that seems drastic,
Yeah, but it's the truth.
but if God is truth,
Mm-hmm.
then making excuses that are lies,
Yeah.
that's putting something that's not God inside of a relationship.
So as you guys can tell, we're in a new location today. We wanted to change it up, a new
Yeah.
change of scenery. It's
Yeah.
been super awesome.
And we had some scheduling
Yeah.
conflicts earlier this week, so we had to film just in a little different, and that's
a lot
okay. It's been
going
fun.
on. It's super cool though.
Yeah.
Change things up. But as we wrap this up, Clay, how would you challenge our students to respond this week?
Well, I would recognize that God and Jesus is truth. That's the first and foremost thing, which means if that's what we should be seeking in our life, we should be seeking God in every single thing that we do, because that's who we should be following.
Yeah.
If we want to live a life of truth, we have to find who is truth. But then on the flip side of that, the reverse of that, we have to figure out in what aspects of us is there lies going on. Where are there lies happening in our life, and how can we then take those lies, make them stop, and turn them back into truth? If we want to become as most God-like as possible, as Christ-like as possible,
Yeah.
we have to get the lies out of our life and start living in the truth.
So yeah, y'all just grab a hold of that this week and just really take a self-evaluation
Yeah.
and just think about it.
Yeah. We love you guys. We're proud
Yeah.
of you guys. Keep rowing the boat. Keep doing what you're doing. Have fun. Have a great small group. If you're going to a
Yes.
small group, if you have any questions, drop a comment. If you want to subscribe, we always love that. And we will see you another time.
Peace.
Deuces.